All right, everybody. We can all find our seats and quiet down. We'll get started in just a second. Thank you, everybody, for coming out, whether you're joining us online or in person. It's really amazing to see the turnout. There's so much hard work, dedication, and passion that is going to be shown tonight. I've been watching this entire quarter, seeing what everybody's been building, seeing the limits that we're pushing, and I'm just so excited to share it with you guys. So, my name is Aiden, and again, welcome to the 2020 Product Showcase. I've had the honor of serving as the 2025-2026 president of CodeLab, but before my presidency, I had the chance to grow up in this organization, and through that, I've noticed something. Fundamentally, there exists a gap. A gap between the course content that we learn in our classes and the skills that we'll need for building in the real world. This gap is one that grows every day, often exponentially, making it harder for students to find their niche and reach their dreams. The world of today is almost unrecognizable to the world of 4 years ago. Frontier models are changing the way we interact with software. Systems rise and fall in the span of months, letting builders reach meteoric success. In fact, the barrier to building has never been lower. However, ironically, that means the gap we experience as students has never been wider. However, CodeLab is the thing that bridges that gap. We have been able to scale parabolically alongside the industry we sit in, as the growth and adaptability is a core function of how we operate. We can adapt to trends as they emerge, harness them, and even contribute to them. And why is that? It's because we are students teaching ourselves. We push ourselves to seek out the very problems that even the most established companies are working to solve and take that challenge head on. We create the opportunity for success as a core goal, both personally and for CodeLab, is to enable our members, but not only our members, but the UC Davis community as a whole, to achieve greatness. But how do we do that? We put on robust education workshops that our education teams have worked tirelessly on, teaching the next generation of designers, developers, and leaders the skills that they need to be able to build on to reach new heights. We host events with the companies that are powering our industry, giving our members and impacting real users. In fact, our projects that we worked on just this year, when deployed, will reach not dozens, not hundreds, not thousands, not even hundreds of thousands, but millions of users with 6 zeros across platforms like Google and Reddit and through the amazing organizations that we partner with. All of that is created by those that you see here today. And while I couldn't be more proud of our impact with our partner companies, during my tenure as president, I wanted to break down the barriers. I wanted to break down the tall barriers. We relaunched our open source program with 2 flagship projects. We have NextGit, which is a fast, opinionated GitHub CLI and TUI for stack branches, terminal first review, and scripted workflows. And we have Anchor, a model-agnostic memory layer that helps AI agents keep factual continuity with grounded, retrievable context. And what I'm most proud of is the pioneering of our incredibly successful NOVA program. We've been able to match over 30 talented underclassmen to 4 projects, ensuring they're not held back simply due to their emerging experience. And finally, what is most dear to me is the community that we have cultivated. With over 110 members this year, 2 unforgettable retreats, and countless memories that we have made, I've seen our cohorts become true friends and create bonds that will last far longer than even the most organized Figma file or tech debt-free codebase. And with that being said, from the guy who was rejected twice from CodeLab his freshman year and thought that getting in was a pipe dream, thank you. Thank you for all the laughs, all the tickets, all the late nights of making slides, and the memories that I will cherish forever. But most importantly, thank you for the trust that you put in me for helping CodeLab reach new heights. We have an amazing, amazing showcase this evening. I'm beyond excited to let our talented members show what they've been building. We have some amazing industry speakers tonight, and I'd love it to turn it over to our amazing MCs, Pooja and Shruti.
Thank you, Aiden. Hi, everyone. I'm Shruti. I'm the VP of Projects, and this is Pooja. And we've been working, Pooja is the software education lead, and we've been working together the past 2 quarters as Google developers, and we're really excited to be your MCs for tonight. So everyone give us a round of applause before we get started.
And basically, after 2 quarters of us working together, we promise that we'll try to keep tonight running as smoothly as possible, smoother than our merge conflicts on our branches, and we're excited to welcome you all to our annual CodeLab Product Showcase. So tonight our showcase will include 3-minute presentations from 7 amazing teams, and we also have 4 wonderful guest speakers joining us: Ronak Anand, Christy Franks, Navi Yuki, and Arush Saw.
All right. Before we get started, let's give a big round of applause to our speakers and our teams, and let's get started with beat 2. Beat 2 delivery optimizer. All right, but while they're coming here, I'll introduce them. So, this is beat 2 delivery. They delivered a small business delivery optimizer to help local fleets calculate the most efficient routes.
And starting with them is perfect because they're here to deliver us the first pitch of the evening, and hopefully faster than my DoorDash orders during finals. So welcome B2 Delivery.
Thank you. That's not the first delivery program I did. Introducing Delivery Optimizer. Delivered to you by our team. Before we get started, I just want to thank each and every single one of these members. They've contributed over the past 2 quarters immensely. So thank you. Our client is the Benevolent Bandwidth Foundation, or B2. B2 wants to make sure AI is a force for good. Currently, AI is trained on human data, without anybody's consent, really. B2 is a global open source community that is ensuring that their tools are safe, fair, and have user trust. But most importantly, they capture 0 human data. And I mean 0. We can't even have our data touch our database for a millisecond and then get deleted. They brought us a problem that is plaguing our local community, and it is embodied with Sarah. Meet Sarah, one of our users. Sarah owns a local flower shop and has been operating for the past 22 years. The problem that Sarah's experiencing is the night before Valentine's Day, she has to deliver over 250 orders, or plan for them. Now, you might be saying, Kirill, that's not a problem, that's a good thing. We have customers, we have money, that's great. But the real issue is that she has to do all of this manually. She has to manually check Google Maps, manually group them by direction, and 200 times before they can finally send. Now, there are POS systems out there that are able to do this for her, but they're really expensive. And she's gonna use them like once or twice and then be done with it. So instead, we're introducing the Delivery Optimizer. The Delivery Optimizer lets her upload her CSV file with all the deliveries. It optimizes it for her and displays a results screen with the route that she can give to her drivers. But most importantly, it is free, there's no login, we keep 0 data, and it is completely open source, which means that users can edit it to their specific needs. Now I'm going to pass it on to Catherine to talk a little bit about our design.
When developing our design system, we prioritize visibility and accessibility. Our primary color was selected because it remains highly visible
especially important for drivers who may be using our platform indoors, outdoors, and on the go. For our icons, we chose simple and recognizable ones that clearly communicated their purpose and developed reusable components and a standardized style to maintain consistency in our designs across both our driver platform and our route manager platform. And I'll hand it off to Guri to show our demo.
Thank you. Starting off, the user will be prompted on whether they are route manager or driver. In this case, they are a route manager, so they'll be taken to our manage page, where they can either import a CSV or manually enter in the addresses that they need optimized. Once they have entered in the addresses, they can enter in a vehicle. And then once all the information is complete, they can click the Optimize button, where they'll be prompted to enter in the starting location of the vehicle. Now the route has been optimized. On the right, we have a visual representation with the Google Maps API of the optimized route. And on the sidebar, we have all the addresses ordered as they should be delivered, and they can be edited for, let's say, a fragile package. Then the user can export this route as a JSON and then upload it on our driver assist coming up here. Once it's uploaded, they'll be taken to the UI for our driver assist, which is linked to Google Maps on their phone. And the UI is pretty nice. I think it has big buttons, allows drivers to kind of tap and confirm deliveries on the go, and also allows them to update them as they go. They can finish it and export a route summary once they've completed the deliveries. And yeah, that's our demo. And now I'll move on to the tech stack and our actual implementation of this project. Now, for the front end, we utilize the Next.js framework to build the UI, along with the Google Maps API for the results page. Yet, by far, the main core feature of our product is the backend, which runs in 2 Docker containers on GCP's Cloud Run. These are the Vroom and OSRM engines. As soon as the user clicks the Optimize button, the Vroom engine fires away. It fires away and grabs all the address data from the front end and then gives it to OSRM. OSRM is OpenStreet Routing Map. It calculates the travel time and distance between each location and sends those calculations back to Vroom, which runs multiple routing algorithms on this data to send back the most optimized route back to the UI in the results page. Now I'll give it to Catherine for the next step.
Going back in time first, this project is inspired by Lizzie, our TA, wanting to help out her mom who runs a flower shop. And CodeLab took over at the beginning of the year to execute this idea. But in the future, we're planning to go live next month and also onboard our first users. And in a few months, we'll be launching our go-to-market campaign.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, B2 Delivery. And honestly, in this economy, we need to save all the gas we can, so thank you so much. Up next, we have B2 EcoTag.
B2 EcoTag built a mobile app that lets you scan any clothing care tag to instantly reveal its lifetime carbon emissions. Let's start, finding out if Shruti's outfit is a climate disaster with that.
This was scripted, but whatever, we'll check it out, I guess. B2 EcoTag, come on.
Thank you, Shruti and Pooja, for the amazing introduction. So yeah, have you ever been shopping and wondered where your clothes came from? Our mobile app, EcoTag, does just that by showing you the impact of clothes you have and gives you the tools to make more sustainable choices. We collaborated with the Benevolent Bandwidth Foundation to create a tool that makes sustainable shopping more accessible and transparent. My name is Nithya Sungu. I'm the project manager of this team. Alongside me, I have Jasper and Alex, two of the 6 developers, as well as 2 designers on the team. So who is B2? B2 is a global nonprofit focused on utilizing AI to build a world where the benefits of AI are reached by everyone, everywhere. Our core challenge was, how do we empower consumers to make environmentally conscious decisions while shopping? This developed into a mobile application that scans clothing tags to deliver instant sustainability metrics. To make this work, we faced 2 hurdles: ensuring strict user privacy by minimizing data collection and designing a fast, utility-first experience to emphasize functionality.
Our solution started with design process. Our design system used green tones to reinforce sustainability and create a clean, trustworthy experience. Secondary colors, like red and yellow, acted as quick visual cues for environmental impact, while our typography prioritized readability and fast navigation. I'll hand off to Alex now to go over the development.
Yeah. Moving from design ideation to development implementation, first we collect the image from the user using an app directly on their device and send it to our backend server. We use caching technology to reduce AI model calls. Then the server passes it to the OpenAI API to pass the text within the image itself, as well as extracting the materials, origin, and CAM instructions, which we cross-reference with our CO2 data tables. From the data and the text within the image, we then calculate the emissions from the clothing's materials manufacturing and washing instructions, and return a full lifestyle breakdown to the user. The fashion industry produces 10% of global emissions, and EcoTag gives you the data you need to make more sustainable decisions.
Moving on to the user journey, our garment scanner was designed for speed and accessibility, allowing users to quickly learn more about the clothing they buy or own by highlighting sustainability, longevity, and lifetime costs. The app makes informed decision-making effortlessly. This is the flow the user takes through the application. So they scan a garment, then they can put in the details, and it'll bring a statistics measure. Additionally, we allow users to easily compare clothing items, further reinforcing decision-making while shopping with a couple easy clicks. We held ourselves to a strict privacy-first standard where the users control their data, and this is backed by the ethics of the Benevolent Bandwidth Foundation. And EcoTag doesn't harvest your information, and all scanning and shopping data is permanently deleted after a 24-hour session, keeping the user experience completely secure. At this point, we've delivered the application to the Benevolent Bandwidth Foundation, along with potential future features, including an interactive map of where your clothing came from, a detailed materials breakdown, and a visualization of your emissions and cost savings over time.
The impacts of this project align with prospective users who cared most about both savings from the monetary to the environmental aspects. The app presents information visually and limits the barriers to entry to provide a product that is easy for our users to embrace as a part of their daily lives. With that being said, I'd like to thank B2 and CodeLab on behalf of the whole EcoTag team for bringing us together to work on this amazing product. Thank you so much.
That was an amazing presentation, EcoTag, and now we're excited to welcome our very first speaker of the night, Ronak Anand. And Ronak is actually a UC Davis alum and has previously worked at companies such as Microsoft and is currently working on the Applied Evals team at OpenAI as a member of technical staff. So everyone, please welcome Ronak Anand.
Was it Connie? Or I'm coming after you, dude. I'm shitting bricks here, dude. Yeah. Oh my god. I just parked and then I gotta speak. Okay. Anyways, I'm definitely gonna go over time, but I'm gonna try and not bore you guys. Sorry, Sean, I read your email. I know it was supposed to be under 10 minutes. I'm not gonna listen to you. I'm older than you. So yeah, I was just trying to figure out, like, what do I really want to talk about with you guys? I heard a lot of y'all like reach out to me regarding like career and everything. Things have changed a lot. Like I graduated back in 2022. This building didn't even exist back then. I was telling Connie, wow, money is amazing, dude. This building's amazing. But we used to do lead code. Like if you were a lead code god, that was an easy game into like the FANG. Now the game's totally changed. It's like really seem like our roles are getting like obsolete. There is at least one time in a day where I'm like, shit, I think I'm helping produce a model that is gonna replace me. But I'll tell you this, that's definitely not gonna happen. And I'm gonna show you through the slides and really talk about like my career journey, and hopefully you guys can leave this with like some motivation or like, I don't know, some positive insight to like what the world is gonna look like in the next, I guess, couple months. I don't know, I can't say for next year, but like, yeah. How do I go next slide? Just the arrow. There's no down. Oh, there you go. Wow. Okay. So let's go back like a couple like centuries ago. We're in the fourth revolution, industrial revolution. We've seen the steam engine, power, internet, and now we're in AI. Jobs have been displaced all 4 times, but the total number of jobs that have been produced from these revolutions have always increased, and I'm going to say the same thing for AI as well. What's going to happen definitely though is a lot of these roles that you see are definitely going to transform. In fact, like if you think about it, a lot of you guys are probably studying like computer science or design. That didn't even exist before the 2000s, man. Like my dad literally studied like electrical engineering or mechanical engineering, and then he had to get dirty with the keyboard, dude. He just had to keep up with the market. Otherwise, yeah, he'd have to listen to someone like me telling him like what to do. So what I'm trying to say is that like the roles are gonna transform. It's not the end of the world, even though it seems like so. Okay, a bit about myself. So I graduated back in 2022. I joined Microsoft, and I worked on evals for M365 Copilot. If you guys haven't heard about M365 Copilot, it sucks, thank God. You've actually saved yourself so much time and energy and patience. It's so bad, but I will tell you this. It's what sort of like made me, find my niche and sort of help me land where I am today. What evals really means is that, we're making sure these models are like secure, safe, reliable, inclusive. In fact, like one of the evals that, one of my favorite eval stories with M365 Copilot was someone on the reasoning team pushed some code to make sure that the model is more grammatically correct, and the model stopped recognizing they and them as pronouns. That was crazy. So like evals caught that issue really early on, and we made sure that the model was inclusive. Yeah, so that's how it is to work at like a hyperscaler. 3 years in, they thought that evals wasn't necessary anymore, and guess what? I got laid off, guys. I got laid off, and then I decided to do my own thing. I was like, you know what? I'm gonna work at Cornucopia. It was a startup that me and my buddy, who's also a fellow Aggie, started. We decided to create this AI biolab, which is there's a lot of dinosaurs in Amgen, BioMarine, a lot of these like just like biotech firms. We're like, we can automate a lot of that stuff. So I worked on that for a couple months. And wait, let me see what the next slide is before I just keep yapping. Okay, yeah. So the reason I'm talking about this is because like this is two sides of the same coin. So I left him for OpenAI. He always calls it a breakup. We're still friends. He doesn't hate me, but he does bring it up because like he's raised like a ton of money and my shares haven't vested yet. But cornucopia is an area, a segment that AI hasn't really touched. Cornucopia is in biotech, which is not really what you would say is part of the GDP where OpenAI, Anthropic, or Google, Microsoft, or Facebook are really trying to tackle. They're really focused on like coding right now. While oh yeah, so see this is what I'm saying. I keep yapping. This is a question to y'all. How big do you guys think tech is in the U.S.? Raise a hand, please.
Let's go. D, 42.
42. Okay. Any other guesses? It's not. I'm not saying this wrong. Yeah, go ahead.
17 soon.
17. Any more? Any more? Any more? Last. Yeah. 5.6. Okay. Anyone want to say A just for shits? You want to say A? Cool. A. Okay. It's B, guys. It's B. Dude, tech is so small, guys. It's so small. It's terribly small. In fact, like there's real estate, there's manufacturing, there's finance, there's biotech. There's so much of the country that hasn't been untouched, that hasn't been touched yet, which is a huge scope for innovation. And this is what I'm saying. This is like two sides of the same coin. You can be in the tech industry, work at these AI labs, or work at a hyperscaler. Or the other side of the coin is you can be like Mickey and my buddy, who's like in this biotech area, capitalize on that shit, and then be the king of the hill. Now this comes to my life, whereas like this is like sort of the workflow of like the value networks. Value networks are like, we see the value networks like the Google Suite, the Microsoft Office, OpenAI is trying to create something similar, Anthropic's also going to create something similar. Now you can join these value networks, or you can help aid these value networks. So you can help in like training, or like uptime, or I don't know, like evals, or like prompt, or like photonics, or chip design. There's so many areas that still require innovation that these AI labs can't do themselves. This is for you guys to think. So this is a little bit about my role. A company came to us and said that your model sucks at visual acuity. Basically saying that our model really sucks at front-end design. So I'm going to ask you guys, what do you guys think? What do you think is wrong in A and B, design-wise? Both of these were created by Codex, by the way. Designers, I'm looking at y'all. Yeah. Choose one. Don't answer both.
The button on B, both buttons are right aligned, and it's kind of unintuitive.
They're both right aligned. Okay. Awesome. That's good. Are you a designer?
No, I'm CS.
Anyone else? Guys, come on. 2 presentations. Yeah.
I'm a little blind right now, but I think for A,
Mhm.
there's 2 different, like, on the top components, like, for box, like, there's two different, like, bars or, like, with data and information on the very top box.
This one?
Yeah, and the left line, and it feels weird considering everything else is, like, boxed into separate components for data.
So wait. Sorry. What am I looking at? What am I supposed to?
So for the top box,
Uh-huh.
there's, like, values, I think. My vision is blurry right now.
Okay.
And they're in the same, like, component, like, box. Like, they're in the same box, whereas, like, the other ones, they have, like, data, they have graphs, they have values.
Sure.
But they're, like, isolated.
Sure. Okay. Don't make it more like harder than. Yeah.
For number B, the buttons are inconsistent with each other. One is like very big, colorful, and also has like big text. The other one has small text.
Okay. B is correct. Sorry. Okay. Yeah. What's up?
I feel like the people put
The what? Oh wait, this is a screenshot. This is like zoom in. Don't go by that. Yeah. Okay, I'm just gonna go on the next slide. I don't want to take up time for the rest of your presentations. Okay, so it's a spacing right over here. Okay, it's a spacing right over here. So if you see there's a bar, this is an issue that Codex wasn't able to figure out was an issue. And yes, the new view, he got it right. The new view is inconsistent with this button, okay? Now just to show you how shit these models are, I asked Codex that, hey, this is where So basically what I'm trying to say is that even though I create the evals and we've like gone back to the drawing board and retrained these models to make like 5.5, 5.6, 5.7 or whatever models that we're creating, these models still have a lot of learning to do, a lot of growing to do, really far from like doing where the hell you guys are doing in the last two presentations. Now, this is where like, comes like to what does a traditional like software engineering role would look like. This is my view. You can take it with a grain of salt. What I feel like software engineering is going to be in the next couple of years at AI Labs is going to be either evals or research. That's what's going to, just turn the model, okay? There's still going to be development in other like, I guess, like other B2B SaaS companies, but they're going to be more like product managers with a fleet of like 10 like agents, and they're like, yeah, do this, do this, do this. Everyone's going to be a product manager. Or you can chuck these AI labs, you can chuck tech completely, like coding, and you can work to forward deployment engineering, go to market, or sales. And this is where you you harden those soft skills. Yes, you harden those soft skills. And so basically, now that AI has leveled the game, you need to expand fast. These companies need to expand fast, and that's where your forward deployment engineers, your go-to-market people, and sales need to push the company's agenda, push the code fast, create the demos, just work fast and break things essentially. So just to summarize, I have a lot. You either just aid the Value Network, like join an AI lab, or you can be your own Value Network. Sorry, I messed that up. No, you either be your own Value Network, or you can aid these Value Networks like NVIDIA, chip design, like uptime, all these things. Or you enter a domain like my friend Mickey, go into a crazy domain, make that your niche, capitalize on that information, use these AI tools to really become a genius in these things, and then be the king of the hill over there. So, yeah, I don't know where I was going with this, honestly. I was going to be motivational. But what I wanted to say is that I read this code a couple days ago where a lot of these tools are built on data sets. Data sets is looking backward, looking into the past, and creativity is looking to the future. This is where the creativity lies, like these tools would not have been able to create these two demos. I hope they're built by Codex, otherwise they suck. But that's insane. They're all insane. It's not going to be built by just AI overnight. It has to have someone driving the bus, holding the wheel and making sure that design is right, engineering is right, and you're just matching what the customer wants. Yeah, so find whatever you guys are good at. I found evals, that was my niche. That's how I landed my role at OpenAI. And I think you guys can kill it. If I can, we're gonna see you guys up here soon enough. Hope I didn't go way beyond. I did. Oh my god. Okay. Thanks guys for listening.
Thank you, Rana, for his amazing presentation and for giving hope to the next generation of software engineers and designers. So, Shruti, why did I just get a notification from Google saying I'm a good match for a senior marketing specialist in Alabama?
Okay, honestly, Pooja, you are a yapper, so maybe it's not a total airball. But anyways, next up, we're introducing our Google team where we redesigned the complete user journey of finding a job on Google.
back to follow. That was like really fun. I'm like imagining myself being like a fleet of like owning like 30 AIs and just like building an entire company. Maybe I'll like spin the wheel and like pick a niche. We're almost there. Hi everybody, my name is Max and this is Google team. So I'm one of the project managers and we have 8 lovely developers. You heard them scenes, they're pretty fantastic. We had 4 product designers and we had 4 UX researchers. A pretty massive team, even by like CodeLab standards, and you'll see why for the sake of this project. Now, a little bit of our client. If you don't know who Google is one of the largest tech giants in the world. If you think about search, browsing, AI, cloud, chances are they have their hands involved in part of it. More specifically, we're working with the employment branding team. The employment branding team is kind of like marketing for how Google is representing itself as an enterprise to job applicants, like people like you and me. And we're more so looking at Google Careers. It's a site that sees millions of users every single day, and we are redesigning a subsection called the Locations page. The Locations page is kind of old. It hasn't really been updated in like 5 years, and we want to do a fresh redesign with the goal of increasing applicants across sales, SWE, data center operations, along with increasing the amount of users that are creating career profiles and uploading their resumes. That's a foreshadow for some of the dev work. I'm going to pass it off to Evelyn for our user research process and product design.
Thank you so much for getting us started, Max. So at the very beginning of our project, we conducted a few competitive analysis of other known companies such as Apple, Capital One, Spotify, and Meta as well. Each of these companies had 4 unique features that really stood out to all of our users, mainly interactivity while scrolling, emphasis on innovation and the projects that they have at each location, highlights like employee testimonials that really humanize each location, and also a showcase of not just the office, but also what the city is like too. On top of that, we also really wanted to understand who our user group was, who's going on Google's location careers page. So we sent out a survey and we got over 200 responses. We also conducted 4 different user interviews with experienced hires, so individuals who have 4 or more years of experience within the industry. We found that a lot of the times on the Google page, it left users feeling really uninspired and they felt really disconnected with the page. They didn't feel like they could see themselves working there and living in that city, belonging within the office. So one of our goals is to just make sure that we can create a design that's intuitive, visually engaging, and can really put the users into the space of that office there. So we created a bunch of components. Our components were created through Google's pre-existing Bright Spot system. So we have a couple here. A couple of call to actions and also what we're building to. And with a bunch of these different components, we had 9 unique pages that we designed. Out of the 9 unique pages we designed, we conducted a comparison test with 14 different candidates. In total, we found that there's 2 pages that we designed overall. We have the discovery page, that's the landing page. That's where users get to explore, discover the Google location, and it's just a brief overview of what it's like there. On here, we integrated a card view over a map. The map had really low usability, which led to really low retention rates. And then we also showcased the benefits as well. We also have the unique locations page where you really dive into each Google location. And here we have the Imagine Life and testimonials as our key features. And here is just an overview of some of our designs. We have 3 total: the directory landing, the featured location where it showcases the top 10 Google locations. It has a lot of content, a lot of information. We also have a more simple view with less content, but just enough so users can still envision themselves working there.
And another overview, this is just how we imagine someone's experience would be like on this site as they navigate through Discovery and through Mountain View as well. And just to end it all off, we really wanted to see if our designs met the user needs, met the company's needs. So we conducted 12 user acceptance tests with a few experienced hires and some new grad entry-level employees as well. We found that overall there was an increase in user confidence from low to medium and then medium to high, which meant that more users were stepping out of the consideration zone and moving into applying and having more action. For our entry-level candidates, we noticed that they had an apply mindset, where they just went straight to the call to action to apply to Google. For our experienced hires, we saw that they found significant value in how the workplace operates and what city they're in. And even though we had two very unique user journeys, we were still able to meet both of them at the end.
After we passed off the designs and we instilled a design freeze, our devs implemented it using React and TypeScript components because we made a couple custom cards and components just for ease of use for our clients post handoff. But we have 8 super talented developers. That's like a lot of work, a lot of resources, and we wanted to do some back-end work as well. We had a couple constraints we needed to follow. One, we need to make sure that it met our, we didn't have any access to their systems, no code, no data. We had to stay fully isolated. In addition, it had to be design free. Our designers had a very tight deadline. They had no chance for us to intercept and intercede and to give them more work. Lastly, we wanted to make sure that we met our clients' expectations and goals. We wanted to make sure that we increased applicant conversion and that people made and used career profiles. Now, and we know there's a problem in that. So if you go and on the career page, I actually uploaded my resume. This is kind of like our imagination of you click on our call to action right here to make a career profile, upload your resume, and then it recommends jobs to you. As you can see, I uploaded my resume and it's giving me staff software engineer roles. I have sales, I have product experience. I'm not qualified and I'm not interested in these roles, which really decreases the chance that I'm going to apply to them. We then created a resolution by improving the recommendation system. I'm going to pass it off to Aiden.
Awesome, thank you. So a lot of job recommendation systems make use by keyword matching, meaning if you see Python in my resume, Python in the job description, it's going to be a high match. Even if, there's a lot more nuance in actual job and matching. So we wanted to build a system that accounts for this, gives it more context and structure. So we start by extracting the resume from a PDF form, and we're using a BERT named extraction recognition model, as well as some regex extraction to pull out things like skills, locations, and past experience from the resume. And we use this to build a structured candidate profile. From then, we use a heuristic ranker. And here we're checking things like skills overlap, location accommodation, and seniority matching to make sure it's a good fit. However, this is a fast and efficient method, and a lot of nuance in these jobs and applications is missed here. To account for this, we use a cross-ranker embedder model, and this works to evaluate jobs and resumes as a pair, and gives a match score on how strong this pair will be. This works by semantically finding matches that can be missed through heuristic only filter. We train this on 9,500 job and resume pairs through a tagged data set, and evaluated using metrics like MRR, which tells us how the top recommendations, where does our actual top jobs fit, and hit1, which is how relevant is our top actual job. And then I tested this on my own resume, right? And so some of the results I found were staff software engineer, fleet health team tech lead, and soft architect. And while these might match technically, I'm not in a place in my life where I'm applying to these types of roles. So when I ran it with our system, I'm getting software engineer intern roles, but actually in Australia, India, Taiwan, which is actually a funny story. So if you want to know more about that, come talk to me afterwards. But we found that using some sort of semantic embedding, we find higher results, more accurate results compared to just a pure keyword re-ranking. I do want to shout out the Google client team for being wonderful to work with over the past couple of months. And then CodeLab and our CodeLab team with everyone on Google. It's such a fun opportunity. Thank you all for listening.
Honestly, you guys, I feel like CodeLab is filled with a lot of cool people. So, besides the people just in this room, we thought to include others outside of it, which is why we brought back the open source initiative. So next up, we have Nova Open Source.
This team built an open source dashboard that tracks and gamifies GitHub contributions across our internal projects into a live leaderboard.
So if you want to mathematically compute how much you've collaborated or contributed to a GitHub repo, I guess this is your team, so listen up.
Okay, hello, I'm Sharaf, and I'll be presenting with Danica and Asil, and I'm here to introduce our project, Nova Open Source. Now, I want to give a big shout out to each and every single member of our team, and a special thanks to our project mentors, Ishan and Annette, for their guidance through the process. Now the problem. With a show of hands, I want to ask how many of you guys have contributed to the CodeLab open source projects? We know it's really only Alex, and that is the problem. No one is motivated or pushed to work on these projects because there's no real reward, no one is recognized for their work, and there's no sense of accomplishment. And we recognize this. We came up with our CodeLab open source leaderboard to track, recognize, and reward hard-working members of the CodeLab community to give them a sense of accomplishment for their work. And I will be passing it off to Danica to talk about the features and design system.
Thank you. So for our design process, we initially started with low to mid-size sketches to really figure out the visual hierarchy. For the homepage, for example, we really wanted to figure out what contributors wanted to see when they first opened the website. So for the homepage, we have color-coded data. So a specific color is assigned to activities like PRs, issues, and commits. So users can see at a quick glance without having to read every single label. And we also have an interactive graph that breaks down activity for a specific project on the day of the week. And we also implemented a gamification system through a leaderboard and MVP spotlight to really motivate users without relying just on raw numbers. And we intentionally designed the leaderboard, as you can see here, with 3 layers of recognition. So it displays a rank, the medals that users earned, and also their score. So there's more than one way for users to feel seen. And we really tried to keep in mind CodeLab's branding and make it colorful, but also very simplistic and minimalistic along the way. And for the projects page, we decided to go with a card layout so users can see a quick overview of every project before deciding which one they want to see more details on. And we also have a status tag of active versus archive, which can be very helpful using the drop-down filter. And each card also displays notable stats and also top contributors. And clicking into a specific project, we have a sidebar navigation that was very well received during usability testing, since it really helps users stay on track with where they are when looking at data for a specific project. And as you can see under the PR section, for example, it shows all sections generally display a table with more details on the activity, the author, the status, and also the date, designed more so for quick scannability over detail. And now Asil will walk through the demo of the actual product.
So as you guys come to the website, the first thing you will see is the live stats from pulled from location. As you can see, it's not looking that good right now, but hopefully after this dashboard is good, push, people get motivated. We also have an activity charts which shows all the events that happen during the week as a count, and all the events are color coded, so user instantly knows what went down. And as soon as you enter the project, we have our leaderboards where you can see Chloe is on the top right now. Thank you, Chloe. And we also have our summary section where you can see all the daily events that happen during the day. We have cards for all the open issues and PRs, and we also have detailed views for all the PRs where you can see AI summary for any PRs. So project managers no more scrolling through files to figure out what changed. You can just read the AI summary. We also have the same thing for commits, and you can also see the lines of codes that changed. And we also have a detailed page for issues and all the contributors that are contributing to the project. We also have a project leaderboard where each and every contributor of the project is ranked. And we also have a global search option where you can search any contributor across the entire open source projects of CodeLabs. And we also show the activity charts and a global leaderboard where every member is ranked with the medal and the contribution score to the project. After this, it's our next step. Yeah. The next step is to expand the addition to open source projects. We plan to add more and more open source projects dashboard. And we also plan to improve on the gamification process, where we plan to add additional reward points and additional reward system to further motivate the users to contribute to the open source projects. And last, we plan to integrate this with the CodeLab open source website so everyone can use this. Thank you.
Thank you. An awesome presentation from our open source team. So, Shruti, can you believe that Mr. President Aiden Devaney is graduating in a couple of weeks?
Bro, honestly, Ishan also keeps threatening to leave already. We have to find a way to keep them here.
You know what? I have the perfect solution for this. Our CodeLab alumni tracker.
Yeah, I guess once you're in CodeLab, you're always in CodeLab. So give it up for CodeLab Alumni Tracker.
Hello everyone, thank you so much for being here today. Our NOGA team and I are so excited to present to you our alumni tracker, so let's just dive straight in. So beside me, I have one of our designers, Sophia, and one of my devs, Benny, and the rest of our team. For our main stakeholder, I'd like to start to talk a little bit more of what Aiden touched upon, the amazing work of CodeLab. So CodeLab is an organization at UC Davis that upholds bringing real-world experience to students in the software and design agency, working with real company clients with previous projects that we've already seen. It's come to over 65 projects and growing the members of over 300 plus members. And with their mission statement, it's great to see how their community as well as amazing work is continuing to expand. So conducting user research on CodeLab members, we'd allowed to reason that over 60% of members had hesitated to reach out to alumni. And this information has allowed us to reason that the information just simply lies on a CSV, and that kind of blocks a big potential for networking as well as for outreach. And it's allowed us to see this problem statement: how can we help CodeLab members connect with alumni and learn from their career paths? So by building this alumni tracker, we're not only able to showcase the alumni's roles and connect with their professions and interests in this interactive way, but also make it more personalized. So tying it to CodeLab's branding and their colorways, as well as adding in elements to allow members not to feel hesitant to reach out to alumni and gain real advice.
Okay, so one of the biggest pain points we found during our user research was the fact that the students had a lot of trouble finding the right person to reach out to. So in order to address this, we designed the browse page around discoverability. We added things like filtering by company, role, industry, and graduation year, as well as the search functionality and career-focused profile cards that they surface the most relevant information up front. And another major issue that we found was that students often felt intimidated reaching out to alumni. And many of them were worried about whether they were bothering them, they weren't sure what to say, or they were concerned they wouldn't even receive a response. So our solution was to sort of humanize the alumni as much as possible. So in addition to including their professional experience, we included their CodeLab involvement and topics they can help with, and availability preferences, and even their favorite CodeLab memory. We wanted to provide more natural conversation starters when reaching out. And finally, we wanted the platform to feel more than a networking directory, since alumni are such an important part of CodeLab's story. We created an archive-inspired design system that uses folders and files throughout the platform. That eventually led to the creation of the gallery page, where you can see all the members and browse the different CodeLab milestones.
So with the demo here, this is that home landing page, which is that opening dashboard. We see that the cursor takes us to the aspect of all the different amazing companies our alumni are featured or have worked with. And as we dive further into the page, cursor will then kind of go towards the See All Alumni aspect, and there we'll be able to see all the profile views of the different pages and profiles shown. As the cursor goes, we can go to that filtering view where we have industry, role, company, and year based on user preference. And as we kind of click into each profile, we can also see that there's going to be that personalized roadmap aspect. So their CodeLab experience, any past projects would be showcased, as well as the cursor takes us to their industry experience, so where are they now? Which is, I believe, one of the main features our members can utilize and gain input from. And then here, that favorite CodeLab memory page that my designer Sophia talked upon, just for demo wise.
So how do we achieve this? For our front end, we use Next.js, React, and TypeScript. Our back end is Supabase. We use Supabase for the Google app. Only UC Davis students are allowed to log in and see the alumni. One of our major challenges was finding the data. There was no centralized database for any of this, so a lot of node scripts using Amplify to scrape LinkedIn. Again, node scripts like clean that data, make it fit our database. And then another thing that was super difficult was with each hi-fi that came out, there was a new schema, and so we would have to go in, fix our routes, change the Supabase the tables and everything. And then for next steps is seeding the data completely onto the website so it's ready to be published. Implementing webhooks to automatically send out the emails to the alumni, so they can know if they want to be on there or not. And finally, just deploying and adding it to the main CodeLab website.
Yeah, this project has meant so much. Further along the line, I think it's a testament to also show the growth of CodeLab's alumni number, as well as it continues to expand. Wanted to thank my amazing team, as well as our experienced mentors, so Sammy, Claire, and Connie, who has always been open to our questions, concerns, and updates. So yeah, appreciate you guys, and thank you so much.
Thank you, Nova Alumni Tracker. Honestly, I do know a couple of unks in this room right now who will be joining this very soon, so yeah. So next up is Navi, who is also a UC Davis alumni, Cal grad alumni, military veteran, and was on the executive board of the Filipino org here at UC Davis. And so we're excited to have Navi come speak for us. He's worked at Apple prior to his time at Google, where he's a product manager for Gemini. So please join us in giving a warm welcome to Navi.
While I was saying, I actually did not know about CodeLab ever before coming in. I'm actually older than the other alumni over here, much older. I didn't know that you had to be accepted into CodeLab to be here, so that speaks a lot about the org, one. And two, that you guys are in this room doing the extra work on top of your schoolwork. We didn't even have CS when I was going to school. We had design, but we didn't have CS. So that's dating me a little bit. We didn't even have this building. So anyway, while we're getting set up over here, how many, raising the hands in the room, who is in CS right now? Okay, about half of you guys, and design. And about a third, and about other. All right, that's me. I'm other. I have no technical background. I am an alumni. I have no technical background. I got my degree in evolutionary anthropology from my undergrad and my grad. I didn't think I was going to be working in tech. I didn't think I was going to be a product manager specifically on support operations ever. I fell into this career. So why am I here? Why am I talking? I don't know why. Sutri saw me in a missionary work that I was doing for Gemini on campus a couple weeks ago. Asked me to speak, and I was trying to grapple what I was going to present about. And I think what I'm going to present about, and I think that Christy probably deals on a daily basis, is the interactions they have with the other side of the team, which is the PMs. What are they doing? What are they contributing to your work? Sometimes it's very adversarial. Sometimes it could be very difficult to work with. Sometimes it could be a very pleasurable experience. And how that's evolved over the course of the 9 years I've been working at Google, and the 6 I've been working at Apple. So I'm going to go fast because I think out of all the presentations, I think you'll probably get the least out of it, but I'll try to give you the most purposeful amount of information that you guys can get out of this. So, all right, down button, down button. Awesome. So I'm going to go through a couple of insights. One is the personal split regarding product managers. The role is basically splitting into two now. One is really strategic, synthesizing, maximizing a part of the AI structure, and also the agentic orchestrator. Before my role, before AI, a lot of my work was really meeting with teams, understanding the vision from directors, from VPs, from senior software engineers, and understanding how I'm going to spit that information out, where it's important to them, and also important to you, everybody in this room. So one of the things that I want to talk about, and I think it's the elephant in the room, is AI. What has AI changed in the product manager space? One, my life moved a lot faster now, for good and for bad. A lot of my work, I said before, was really organizing information and regurgitating it to the respective teams to make sure we're going the right direction. I think when someone asks you, what does a product manager do? We're there to deliver the product. Literally, that's all we're there to do. How we do it is really a definition by the product manager and how they accomplish it. There's technical background PMs and there's non-technical background PMs. And that's myself. And how AI has really affected the workspace and the PM space is that now my work is 10 times faster. What used to take months now takes weeks. The reason being is that now I'm gathering information directly with AI. I'm not working directly with vendor groups. I'm not working directly with people in marketing. I'm gathering the information directly with our LLM models, and I'm generating that information directly that I can spit out within weeks. One of which is PRDs. PRDs are product-related documents. I'm sure Christy has seen a bunch of those in her lifetime. Those are the documentations that we use to educate all the major teams in our product about the specific thing that we're launching. Let's say I'm launching Google Shoes. The PRD is going to be the Holy Bible that tells what we're launching, how we're launching it, the structure, who's involved, the POCs, the budget, the legality, etc., etc. That used to take me days to get done. I can get that done now in like 15 to 20 minutes, which is insane because of the LLM models that we have capable currently internally at Google. Oh yeah, I forgot to say this. Chrissy was right. I'm on behalf of my experience. No, I'm not here talking on behalf of Google. Forgot to say that part. I had that warning, but I think I deleted that slide. And then two, prototyping is a lot faster, and roadmap simulation is a lot faster as well. I can get things on the drafting board and play around with it within days, like I said before, where it would take me I had to work with a certain team to get that done, because the power is now in my fingertips. The one part that is major, which I'm going to harp in more because it's going to affect a lot of you guys today, is the agentic orchestrator. Vibe coding. I know it's a hot word today, but really it's really bridging the gap of non-technical people like myself into building working models today. Like I said, I have no technical background, but I'm able to deliver a working model of what I generally want to launch. My VP wants to launch, my senior director, whoever, spit that out and be able to communicate that to the head of engineering, the head of marketing, legal, support ops, and let them know like, hey, this is our product. This is what it's gonna look like. It's not 100%, but you have a general idea of what we wanna work with and how we wanna accomplish these goals and our ROI on that as well. So as far as how AI has changed that, I am now in that drafting room with the senior engineer, that senior designer, that person in legal, because I'm able to not only showcase the product, but I'm also able to elaborate it because it's in front of them. Now you're probably wondering, how was it before? I was not working with them directly. I had to work with the subordinates, work with their filing flows, understand what they want, and try to simulate exactly what we want to launch in 6, 12, 16 months. And that's where AI has changed the space in the PM world. And another insight that has changed the PM world is the rise of the system archetype, or the architect. PMs are bypassing engineering bottlenecks entirely now. Before, where if I was a novice PM, or I was not conveying my message correctly, or I was disorganized, which a lot of PMs are, we can be behind on our launches because of the fact that I did not regurgitate the information I want directly to our engineering team, our marketing team, or our legal team, and they got the wrong idea, or I'm not aligning directly with them. So PMs are taking control of their AI destiny, they're directing control of R&D budget, their strategic discovery within external dependencies, faster iteration of ecosystems, being able to vibe code and able to generate information without the dozens of red tape that is associated with being a PM before has dissipated because of AI. Again, good and bad, but overall, we're able to launch things a lot faster because of that. I'm going to skip this because I want to make sure that we're on time. I think this is some things I already said before, but these are a lot of the things that have been automated or been expedited because of AI on my side. And we can talk about it afterwards as well. What I think is the most important part is the co-creation partnership between engineering and PM. It used to be, again, linear, super linear before. The dynamic with engineering is moving towards a co-creation partnership. PMs are providing more functional prototypes, directly edged, sometimes pretty terrible, and I think Christy could probably vet on that also. And high-level technical partnerships is also part of that. Now being able to show a working model, I'm able to show what exactly that we want to launch and what we want to do. So being able to bypass a lot of the technical jargon that I am unable to speak is becoming more helpful in this AI age. And the last two is engineers remain as the production gatekeepers. I cannot do anything without them, but I can expedite a lot of the work that I'm doing because of AI and a lot of the internal LLMs that we have available. There's a potential risk for friction because of that, but overall, I think the way that we dynamically interact with our non-technical partners is going to change fundamentally. I see people standing up. I'm going to be quick. Are you sure? I'm going to do one last thing. I think this is the most important part. Okay. All right. One last thing. So the most important part. Why am I here? Why am I talking to you? There is I don't know when it's going to happen. I don't know how it's going to happen. But I do see that product management, engineering, legal, the heads of these departments are going to merge because of AI. We're now more in the room together than we ever are before, where before we lived in documentations and stand-up meetings. Being able to communicate, to convey your message, being able to be super fast and agile, and also being relatable is going to be fundamental in the AI age because of the fact that you'll be speaking more. I don't know, I'm sure a lot of you guys have done internships before, but usually when you're starting off as a software engineer or UX designer, the person who's speaking for you is going to be your head, or you're going to be your lead, or your staff engineer. Now it's going to be you guys, because you need to value your ability to communicate better and use AI on that standpoint. You guys don't have the problem because you guys all code or you design. For a non-technical person, that's going to be more viable, and I see that PMs like myself will be dying off. There's going to be more technical PMs because of the fact that they can integrate AI and also the ability to communicate effectively during those milestones. So, sorry, I wanted to talk about more, but I want to make sure we get to the other presentation. No, I'm done. But I'll be here. I'll be able to talk more in my experience, and then hopefully I can give you a different aspect of where I think AI is going, because I do think that, sadly, software engineers are in threat of AI. But how can you build your skills to make yourself competitive, but also translate into the working world that we're seeing today? It's a scary world out there, but I think when you're armed with the right tooling, you'll be able to succeed wherever you go. So, and I think this club is definitely a stepping stone to where you need to be. Especially the alumni network, it's pretty cool. If I can get a posthumous, no, I'm just kidding. Awesome, cool. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you, Navi. I know a lot of the people in the room are actually interested in products, so thank you so much for your insights and how AI is changing the way you build.
So for our next block, we're going to be featuring two teams focused on building tools for both global and local communities. So first up is Women's World Banking, and this team developed a full stack web pages connecting underserved entrepreneurs to leadership and finance resources to empower their businesses and lives. So please welcome Women's World Banking.
Hi everyone. This quarter, my team partnered with Women's World Banking to redesign how they present their learning programs online. And so this is what we built. First off, I want to present the wonderful team that brought this project to life. My name is Ellie, I'm the project mentor, and I'm joined by Valerie, one of our designers, and Ryan, one of our 4 developers. So, what is Women's World Banking? Women's World Banking is a nonprofit dedicated to advancing financial inclusion for low-income women across the globe. Their goal is to equip regulators, policymakers, and financial institution leaders through a set of targeted learning courses and offerings. And so, just for some statistics, over their past courses, they've produced over 850 graduates, drawing from participants from over 71 countries, and 70% of those come from policy or regulatory institutions. And so this leads us to our main problem. Women's World Banking learning offerings are spread across different pages with no central entry point. So visitors have reported to struggle with understanding where to go, what kind of courses they offer, and what programs fit their needs, as well as how to take the next step for signing up for those programs. And thus, through further research, we found that there were 3 main issues for this website. Like I said before, there was a lack of an entry point, as the 4 main courses that Women's World Banking offers were in disconnected web pages, and there was no central hub for accessing all of those or understanding the difference between those courses. Additionally, there were unclear offerings, so users reported that they couldn't tell the difference between these courses and what fit their needs best. And lastly, on the web page, there was a lack of credibility for these courses, as partner logos, testimonials, and program outcomes were hidden in this page or completely absent. So this moves on to our solution. We decided to do a centralized learning landing page with external links to redesign courses that they already offer, thus showing all the offered courses on one singular page. Now I'm going to pass this to Valerie to explain one of our pages.
Yeah, so our goal for the Learnings and Offerings overview was to create a discovery entry point helping users explore the programs and courses offered, as you can see in the demo above. So users can easily navigate to all programs and courses, including the Leadership Development Program for Regulators, Tech Policy Learning Lab, and the Self-Guided A2I and Credit Evaluation courses. So through this hub, users could figure out which program is best fit for them, their needs, and their career goals. Yeah, so one of these programs is the Tech Policy Learning Lab. So while we're designing, we focused on accessibility of important information and creating a more modern look for the WWB website. So this includes tabs that clearly outline key information for interested applicants, placing outcomes of the program at the forefront, a timeline of important dates to give users a glimpse into what the program will be like, and also testimonials and instructor biographies, so that users could see credibility and also networking as well. And now I'll pass it off to Ryan.
Yeah, so I'll be talking about these last 2 pages. Our main idea was to follow a consistent layout and structure, making it easy for people to navigate these pages and know what to expect. Let me just start the demo if I can. Yeah, so this is the Leadership Dev program page. The goal was to make it feel more credible and high trust, as we said, since this page is facing professionals from banks and other financial institutions. So we made sure to have a strong overview section and a tabbed deep dive of the course structure, the free details, and what you'll learn. And the most important piece is the timeline, which gives the prospective applicants a clear overview of how their commitment will look like to WWB. And towards the end of the page, we have a grid showcasing the faculty to establish transparency and credibility amongst people using the page, and also a collapsible FAQ section at the end to handle questions the applicants might have. Moving on, this is the credit evaluation course page, which is also rebuilt in Elementor. The page gives learners a clear central hub with a course description and then a what you'll walk away with section, highlighting the 4 key takeaways from the course. Below that, the course outline is organized in a tabular form, followed by a tabbed video player for recorded lessons. Just as a dev talking about this, both of these pages were built in WordPress using Elementor, which is a plugin. It's a drag and drop plugin and it's easy to use. So yeah, it's easy for the team at WWB to maintain this, swap content, update components, and yeah, keep the structure consistent without touching code.
Thank you. So I want to give a moment to thank our mentors for their guidance and feedback. So thank you, Aiden, Jolina, Max, and Daniel, who guided our project throughout the quarter. And of course, a special thanks to our amazing clients, Laura and Chelsea on the WWB team, for giving us this amazing opportunity. Thank you.
Honestly, what a great mission, guys. But, Pooja, did you know that Kimi Antonelli is the youngest F1 driver to win 4 consecutive races? Bro, he's literally 19. Isn't that crazy? Wait, I didn't even know you were into F1. How did you find that out? The F1 subreddit. Come on, keep up with the times, dude. Wait, are you talking about our team's Formula 1 scoreboard that they built using Reddit's developer platform, Debit, which allowed fans to track real-time race data inside their subreddits? So let's welcome the Reddit team to come talk about this, I guess.
Alright, so quick show of hands. How many people here are F1 fans? Right. I see a few hands. I saw a guy in an F1 hoodie right over there. I know you're into it. But I'm pretty sure most of you guys will be interested in our product. But without further ado, we are the Reddit team, and we're super excited to show you what we've been working on this past quarter tonight. So as many of you guys know, Reddit is a super huge platform with over 100,000 plus active communities called subreddits and billions of posts and comments. Specifically, our team is working with Reddit's media, business, and development team, and their work focuses mainly on 3 goals, which were community, content monetization, and innovation. What this meant for us was that we were basically helping their team build Reddit-native experiences that allow Reddit partners and communities to engage around premium content on Reddit. And so for our project, we specifically focused on the F1 community on Reddit. The F1 community was already pretty big on Reddit beforehand, but the issue was that the live race experience was fragmented. People would switch between Reddit, live race like streams, and also external scoreboards just to keep up. And our solution to this was to basically incorporate that live race context, live updates, community polls, and results directly in that thread so that the context is never separated. Instead of replacing those conversations that are being had, we're strengthening them. And before we go too deep into more project details, I want to take a moment to quickly introduce the people who worked on this project. My name is Afifa, and I'm the project manager for this team. And with me, I have Rohan, one of our developers, and Johnson, one of our designers. We had a team of 3 designers and 7 developers, so it was a pretty beefy team, I'd say.
So, to keep track of all the action throughout each phase of the race weekend, we designed this dynamic tab you see here, where you can view all relevant information before the race starts, including a countdown timer, the official starting grid, as well as when the race starts on your local time zone. As the race begins, keep track of all the race data in real time. Details at the palm of your hand without having to ever switch tabs again. Happen to miss the race or want to see race results? Get an overview of the latest points right after the race ends. Next, we have poll creation for mods. Mods are able to enhance community experiences and directly engage with their community, choosing from preset templates of drivers, teams, or custom polls, pertaining to what kind of questions they want to ask. Fans can then engage with one another and vote on race predictions, fully built out with interactive states. And you'll see a quick demo right here. Once a vote is cast, users can view how many votes each poll had, and can always have the option to recast their votes. Then we have the standings tab, where users are able to toggle and see their respective top teams and drivers, complete with total points. And finally, we have the schedule tab, where users can see a holistic view of upcoming and previous races as well.
Yeah, and as Johnson spoke on, there's like a lot of great work the designers did to make a really beautiful UX experience and make it really useful for users. And the developers had to make that vision come to life. So, as mentioned before, we built this on the Reddit platform to allow for an easy integration into Reddit and make that look Reddit native. And similarly, we use Sport Radar to use as our source of data. And our developers put a lot of thought into how to deal with all the challenges that came with using these two sources of data. For example, ensuring that we have live freshness and ensuring that we continue to provide the most correct data possible using caching and time to live. And with this thought that went into that development, we've had a pretty strong impact. We launched just exactly a month ago, and already are installed on 9 different subreddits with a total of 500,000 combined members. And what this means is not only can 500,000 people log in and see Antonelli win the 4th race in a row, but it also means that we have the ability to think about scale and develop for that. And it also speaks to the UX experience that we've built, right? Unlike other solutions on Reddit, we have an automatic refresh, right? So users don't have to press a button to see the most live results. Similarly, we combine lots of tools into one. An engagement tool, a libraries tool, a standings tool, and all these other things into one central repository. And finally, we provide even more information than other solutions. Not only do we provide data for just a race, but for multiple races and for a season across. And so this kind of speaks to the strength of the development team and what they've done here today.
So really quickly closing up, we just wanted to say a warm thank you to our amazing clients, Mindy and Wix. As fellow F1 fans themselves, it was really wonderful and such a great opportunity for us to work on this project. And also, thank you to everybody here who has come to not only our presentation, but everybody's presentations today. Thanks a lot to us. Thank you.
I might be a little biased, but I'm definitely upvoting that one.
We want to thank everyone who made this showcase possible. Thank you to our sponsor, Figma, and thank you to the clients, the panelists, our 4 guest speakers, and for their time tonight, and everybody else involved.
And yeah, thank you so much to the team that put this together, Ishant and CodeLab, I guess, and also thank you Infra for live streaming this, and Aiden for being our technician, basically. But yeah, now is the best part, honestly, it's the food and networking, so let's get started. Have a good night, guys.